The life force of your bond. A power like life itself. Unseen for generations. A dyad in the force.
Oh no! There's a man. There's a couple of men. Hold on.
Uh-oh. People.
1 second.
Now, how's it going, everyone? You're getting a little bit of a peek behind the curtain. There's certain things we can do in order to help us clean up our setup and make sure things are functioning properly. But
seems to be working just fine now. Welcome to another episode of Dyad in the Force. Episode.
And how's my mic level? Am I good still?
You're good. You're good.
Okay. Cool.
Episode 143. We are going to be talking to Dragon Lady JJ here in a bit about her journey through High Republic. And then we are going to read a chapter out of Crimson Climb. I think we're going to start that. Right? We're going to start that. But that's that. Thank you to everyone on the YouTubes for tuning in. Jedi Historian, Cal4, a white man. No! And also Cal says that you sound gorgeous. And to everybody that is still tuning in on the TikTok side, Damien Matthew, Connor, Cal number 2, I suppose, and to Paul. So a couple of questions I wanted to address. What we got on TikTok in the pre-show before we had to switch on over to the main show. Damien Matthew asked how long the strike has been going on. Basically 170 plus days. More. This has been a while. Thankfully, WGA got their deal a couple weeks ago. I think last week. And we've been, looking for the actors to get their deal as well. And so we have not been talking about any struck work or projects. We've been talking about the books, the comics, and games, and anime. But this week's episode is, of course, High Republic and the new Kira book that dropped this week. Let's see here. Okay, that's it. Oh wait, no. Captain Benny 12 says, Hilt-based question, did we ever get confirmation Maces actually had bad MF inscribed on it?
Mace Windu's? No.
Samuel Jackson.
Samuel Jackson's. Yeah.
And in this case, this is the prop hilt that he took home. Has it on it. So, what's going on, Choco?
Oh man, I mean, just a lot of stuff. Been a super busy week for me, and we do have a treat for everyone that should be coming out soon. We were jumping more into creating anime content, and so that's still being edited. Will be coming out soon. I'll be finishing it today, so the primary episode will be up soon. But yeah, coming soon. The mix-up.
Yeah. So I've been having a very, very busy week. We are this much closer to our November expansion release on Lord of the Rings Online, and so things have been, we've been dialing things in and just getting like heads buried in work. And so it's been rough. But, you know, we don't do it because it's easy. We do it because we thought it would be easy. But yeah, while we wait for JJ to join us, do you have anything that you wanted to talk about, or maybe I know that Connor asked for an update on the return of High Ground.
Yeah, so the return of High Ground, I was super excited, geared up because I was so certain that the strikes were going to end this week. So, I mean, I spent hours resetting up everything so that we could just go live as soon as it ended, but that didn't happen. Now, that doesn't mean I'm not going to step back and start making a lot more content. There is a lot of like book content and stuff like that I should be making, especially because there's some good things going on. You know, Dark Droids is actually really enjoyable. It's a weird story, but Star Wars is best when it gets weird. But yeah, you can sit tight and wait for that. The big problem, and I've said it before, but while Ahsoka was airing, I would know I should be making content on books and other things, but I'd start to record and all I want to talk about is Ahsoka. And so like trying to switch gears, my heart wasn't in it. And I don't want to make content just to make content. I want to talk about things that my heart is in.
Yeah, absolutely. And this has been it's been that kind of rough for the most part, trying to make content around these strikes and trying to maintain solidarity with the unions. And we've had to get really creative with the stuff that we put out, and largely it has come down to us reacting to other people, and sometimes it results in exposing that kind of crowd. You know what I mean?
Yeah. One of the things with reacting to videos is the automatic assumption that we're calling the other people toxic, which is not true. We're just reacting to the video. But yeah. I got a lot of comments of people kind of thinking we were going that route.
Not at all. And we particularly didn't, don't make it a habit to just stitch people in general. I think for the most part, I have a huge problem with stitch culture in general. Is it a useful tool for calling out bad behavior and stuff like that? Absolutely. But I think for the most part, we just need to live and let live sometimes, There are certain points where like people invite the discussion and you're like, let's have a discussion. But yeah, I mean, for the most part, I don't think it's needed.
Yeah.
That's my hot take. But, JJ, where you at?
The thing I'm struggling with right now is I'm trying to pipe the audio for TikTok Studio somewhere else other than my headphones. And even though I'm telling you that, it's not doing that.
Oh. So you're getting
that's
the echo.
irritating. Yeah.
Even if you say like, control audio and then mute it on the audio devices. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's what you get. Connor, thank you for the 79-cent ramen drop. We'll get here in a minute.
Got it.
You got it?
Yeah, no, I was able to successfully pipe the audio elsewhere. So that is good.
1 second.
But man, there is a lot of stuff I can't wait to talk about Ahsoka.
Oh yeah.
Not only that, but I mean, my favorite parts of the High Ground podcast was revisiting, this stuff with people, and there are certain projects I just really want to revisit. I know for a fact that revisiting like Obi-Wan, for instance, without just terrible takes in the community week to week,
it's going to be
a different
Connor super
experience.
chatted a 96 cents ramen drop.
Thank you, Connor.
Emperor Holocron asks, unrelated question, because I know y'all are Destiny 2 fans. Return of the 7th. I didn't know I was going to read that. Return of the Savathusy.
Now I get the reaction.
I honestly haven't been following it, to be quite honest. I think I dropped off. What was that dungeon we were doing? We were following that trail.
Yeah, no, the latest dungeon underwater, where we stopped the resurrection of what's his face, that guy. But no, it's exciting. I also haven't played as much, and it's because of the dauntingness of all of the changes. Also, single player games have been popping off. Okay, I don't know where y'all been, but like single player games have been amazing recently. And there's been so many changes in the game of Destiny that it makes it hard to just jump back in, because like all of my builds that I've cultivated, they're all broken. I don't even know if they work anymore. Story wise though, I think we're gonna see some cool stuff.
Yeah. I think eventually I'll tune back in for the final shape, but I've been, it went from Baldur's Gate 3 to Starfield to Assassin's Creed Mirage, and I've been on a binge, as it were, of a lot of really great games and a lot of single player games too. And and I still want to play Armored Core, and I still, yeah. Also thinking about the new game that dropped, Lords of the Fallen, that is like a Soulsborne like game that has multiplayer from the beginning as well. So thinking about that.
Yeah,
but
that game, I saw someone playing it, and there's like a really cool mechanic where they had a lantern that sees another realm, and so it's part of the traversal of like there's gates closing this off, but when you shine the lantern, you can pass through that as an opening in the other realm, and it's so you can kind of go back and forth, and it's interesting mechanics. I always love stuff like that.
Yeah. I did see another mechanic where they died, but on purpose.
A lot.
because in another world, in the other world, in the Umbral, as they were saying, there was no water, right? But in the real world that they were traversing, there was water there, a lake. They couldn't pass it, so they had to go in and die, and then go on to the other world where there was no water to continue. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I always love things like that. Hello, JJ.
What's happening, guys?
Hello, I love that sweater.
Oh, thank you. Very cool, right?
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm good. Sorry I'm late. Got overextended myself.
No worries. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
We are simulcasting on TikTok right now, so everyone, if you're not already following Lady Dragon JJ, please do so. I invited JJ because I think we're both suffering from FOMO. Everyone's at New York Comic Con right now, but I also
I can't even look at the chat or the Twitter. I swear to God.
But I also wanted to pick your brain because this week is the return of the High Republic with Phase 3, starting with the Shadow of Starlight comic, and next month the Eye of Darkness. And you finished Light of the Jedi, and
Yes.
how far are you into the dark?
So, like when you messaged me and asked me to join this specific show, you mentioned High Republic. I was a little perplexed. I'm like, I don't know why you would have me on besides the whole FOMO thing, because I'm not the best, person to talk about High Republic, being that I'm just kind of starting my journey. And it's been a struggle because of the Light of Jedi. I did not enjoy that book as much as most people have. But the more I got into it, and by the time I finished it, I liked it more than in the beginning. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, but it was
does
a tough
really
one.
switch gears quite heavily after like chapter 8 of the book. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, me asking you to come on is not necessarily, or anyone for that matter, because
We just like you.
yeah, we're not gonna, we don't curate our content to people who just like the things, So I mean, of course,
Okay,
that's what we try to do, but
right. No, I get it. And I didn't come on here, by the way, to talk negatively about High Republic. I've been enjoying. I read the Test of Courage, which I loved. That's a solid 4 out of 5 star book for me. Which I don't read children. Pep, I don't. If you don't mind me saying, the music in the background is so loud. I feel like I'm screaming at you.
Oh, is it?
I feel like I'm yelling. I'm so sorry.
Actually, I can actually stop it. There we go.
No, it's calming. It's just really loud. I feel like
I wasn't
yelling
aware
at
because
you.
usually Choco tells me about it.
Like I could barely hear you. I'm sorry. Thank you for accommodating that.
No, absolutely. It's not really needed. I just have it on to just to kind of
Add some volume,
No, it's nice. It's calming. I like the zen of it. It's nice. It was just a little loud, but thank you for adjusting that. As I was saying, like I didn't come on your podcast to talk negative about High Republic. I've enjoyed more than I haven't. Like I said, the Light of Jedi was just a bit of a chore. The first third of that book to get through. Like I DNF'd it probably 5 times. Not gonna lie. I would read it, get into it, and I just drop it and I don't touch it for like months at a time. So, by the time I pick it up again, I forgot everything that I read. So I go back again, I read it again. It is a very fast-paced, plot-heavy, like alphabet soup of a book, and it was just very difficult to memorize. And we've talked about this before. I'm very bad with memorizing all the planets, all the creatures, all the species, all the names, all of that. So it was like, how am I going to get through this? Like, and there's like 10 more books. Like, do I need to grab a notebook? Am I reading like Silmarillion?
Silmarillion, yeah.
I can't say that to save my life.
No, if you paid me, I couldn't say it right. But I'm
Say-
like, do I need a
okay.
notebook?
And then our good friend changed her name to Silmarillion, and I'm like, well, I can't say her name. I'll just Simile.
I mean, as with all things that I have to kind of process in terms of pronunciation, I kind of just compartmentalize in like the parts of the word. So it's sil, ma, rillion.
Silmarillion.
There you go.
Silmarillion. Silmarillion.
There you go.
Yes.
Emily.
Oh, we're getting somewhere. But yeah, I finished Light of Jedi. I finished Test of Courage, and I am about a third into Dark. I'm enjoying that one a lot, quite more than Light of Jedi, by the way.
I knew you would.
I was told to skip the children's, the middle grade, even some of the young adult. I'm glad I didn't. Otherwise, I would have missed out on Test of Courage, which that book
told you
I
that?
breezed through that. Don't matter. It was because I was trying to get into High Republic, but like there was like a billion books, and people were like, "Oh, if you just read maybe the adult novels, it'll get easier for you." But I'm glad I didn't. Like, if I am gonna commit myself to this, I'll commit fully.
So the best in my opinion, the best thing about this is the heart and how much you can grow to love each and every one of these characters individually. And then we can see them pop up in different scenarios and with different people. And that's what makes us love it so much. And so I do get that question. And so if you want to get a high level of the story, you could just read the adult books and you would know the big events that happen in it,
Right?
but you wouldn't love the High Republic. You would have it's almost like just looking up things on Wikipedia versus actually watching the show or reading the book. You know what I mean?
I see what you mean. Yeah. No, you pick up on, excuse me, on like they build on the characters more. They probably show up later in like the main story, which it feels like to me right now that it's building towards something huge. And if I mispronounce something in this world, please let me know. Like, is it Nihil or Nihil?
Nile.
Nihil. No. Okay.
There are some narrators that like to go Nihil, but it's Nile.
Okay, thank you. It's Nihil.
Also,
I was like, I was reading it in Nihil.
It's Star Wars. Sometimes people just say things different.
Yeah, I tend to latch on to whenever we get the panels at Celebration for the authors and they have to talk about the books. I latch on to their pronunciations for everything. I suppose it makes sense that if you wanted to get through phase 1, you could just read the adult books. But I
have a feeling. I'm sorry.
No, I was just going to say, I will amend that by saying do not skip the junior novel books, though. I think, like, if you want to get through it, and then you want to... Because a lot of the High Republic hinges on the fact that somebody, like, passes by as a character's walking down the corridor. And in a junior book, it's that person running down the corridor, and they pass by into the dark.
I see.
You know?
That makes sense. No, it makes sense. It feels like they're building towards a huge event, which I think it was spoiled to me long time ago when phase 1 was wrapped up. Something to do with the beacon itself.
Yeah.
I think that somebody was showing a special edition book that they purchased. I think it was a San Diego Comic-Con. It doesn't matter. And the cover of the book has a spoiler of the story. So, and I'm like trying to tread lightly. I don't know if people haven't read all this stuff, but that was spoiled to me, which is fine. don't have aversion to spoilers as much as I used to, but with the High Republic, I'm trying to be like a little more cognizant of them. And not the Light of Jedi. What's the cartoon? The Young Jedi Adventures. It showed Loden and Bell, and somebody said something on Twitter regarding Loden, and I'm like, God damn it! I did not know that. That really upset me. Yeah, I was like, oh no. But again, it won't stop me from continuing my journey because I enjoyed it more than I thought I would, honestly. Sometimes Star Wars books can be a bit of a chore for me because they're just so focused on like fast paced, like a lot of the technicalities describing ships and physics and like buttons. And I'm like, I don't care about any of that.
Yeah, all you care about is
I'm sorry. Thank you for pronouncing it. I was reading it totally differently.
I mean, reading the Thrawn books, if I had a dollar every time they used the word salvo, I like it. It really started to grate on me. And that one character's winglets and salvo, those two, I couldn't take it.
It does feel a little repetitive. I'll agree to that.
So did anybody like prime you at all with getting into the High Republic? Like, were they saying, "Oh, you'll definitely like this character"?
So, like in our circle, like all the friends and the mutual friends that we have in like this particular Star Wars community, a lot of people have read it and love it and are very excited. So I kind of fed off of that energy for a while before I started my own journey into the story. I just felt like the Light of Jedi wasn't as. I wish it was. I don't know how to say this. I wish it was reviewed in a way that tells me, be prepared. It's going to be a character dump. It will be an alphabet soup of just things happening, like plot. Like you're not going to have time to breathe. Grab a notepad. Like this will be a homework book. I wish I had known that.
Plus, at the very
apologize.
beginning, a lot of
Why
people.
are you apologizing? I'm just speaking up to my experience. You're gonna experience it differently than I do. I should have been cognizant about being in the community and like mute the words and experience it on my own.
No, a lot of people in the intro to that book don't make it out of the intro to that book as well. So then you start to not knowing who to get attached to, and like, yeah.
Right there. Well, they kill off that the pilot. What's her name?
Hedda
on
Cassett.
Legacy. Thank you. On her legacy run when it explodes, when what jumps off the entire story, and I'm like, wait a minute. I mean, I'm used to main characters dying. I read Game of Thrones books, so I wasn't like totally, but I'm like, this is still Star Wars. Like, it's not. I wasn't expecting that.
I don't think anybody
That
was.
was actually going to be my next question for you, though, because with reading the Song of
Ice and
Fire
yeah.
and Ice and Fire, yeah, that's a lot of that. There's a lot of characters and a lot of different storylines happening, and how do you manage those?
Well, I mean, I reread them a bunch of times because over the years, but those books are set from a singular points of view, told in third person. So you have at least 5 or 6 characters whose chapters keep repeating, and you get their insights through every chapter. So you are literally in the mind of a character, feeling what they're feeling, seeing what they're seeing, picking up on context cues through their point of view. So you are literally dumped into that world through a point of view, which that's
Gotcha.
what makes this
That
book
helps
so
a lot.
interesting. It helps a huge amount. That way you can literally connect with the most vile characters, and kind of like with the good ones, you're like, how can you be so stupid? Because you're seeing them making these decisions. And then you step outside of their point of view and you see how their decisions are not very good. So
Yeah, it makes sense.
that's why I like mom's writing in these books. Yeah.
I did read Game of Thrones, and yeah, each chapter, there wasn't a chapter. It was basically each. It was just the person's name, and then their
Yeah, that's
what they
it.
were doing.
Bran, Ned. Yeah, exactly. So like, let's say the Light of Jedi did something similar to that extent. Like you have a point of view from like Avar, and then maybe from Loden even training Bell, and like literally trying to kill that kid. In my opinion, like I don't know how that kid's still alive at the end of that book. He's like tossing him all over the place. He's like flying off of ships. I'm like, he will not survive this, and I'll be heartbroken because Bell had the most personality, in my opinion, out of every character in
Bella
that
is
book.
my favorite character in the High Republic.
Oh, okay. So I'm on the right track there. Like I literally
No, you're not. No, you're
chose
not.
him.
My favorite character
Oh, okay.
is Vernestra.
She's number
She's
2.
she's the one with the purple hair, right?
Yes.
And yes, with the lightsaber whip.
Yeah.
Coolest weapon ever. Like I like what Star Wars does. I'm so sorry. Can you get off? Come on, get off. Thank you. When she whenever Star Wars does something cool with lightsabers or with weaponry in general, like I'm hooked. Like that new weapon, not new, it was in Clone Wars, but the Thousand Sword, coolest thing ever. I'm sorry. It was the coolest thing ever. So yeah, Vernestra having that little lightsaber whip, which I don't understand mechanics of it. Is it solid at first and then she does something to it and then it becomes floppy? Is that right?
Yeah, it's you twist it and it gets flaccid.
Okay. That makes sense.
So I mean, I don't
That's
know.
funny.
We don't have an explicit mechanic for how it works. We know that the focusing lens and the power cycler creates a magnetic seal. That's why the heat doesn't leave the blade, and the focusing lens controls the length of the saber. But we don't know how a magnetic field can be made flaccid. So
But it's cool.
yeah, it is.
I live by the rule of cool. You know what I mean? Like if the dark saber
Hell yeah.
exists, then I'm cool. You know?
Yeah.
Some things like are just meant to look cool and be cool. They don't need all kinds of science to describe it. Otherwise, they lose that little something special. So, but yeah, I love that book. Really enjoyed it.
Have you met Orla?
Yes, I just met her in the Into Dark. They just got stranded on like a ship or something. I can't remember, or getting attacked. I need to reread the last few lines of that book that I read. She is choosing to be a way seeker. That's the word that they used, and is questioning that decision.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with it. Like having real doubts about it. Is this the right path? Am I doing the right thing? Like, that's the kind of stuff I love. See, like right there, like the moment when you're in the thoughts of these characters, what they're thinking, that's how you build their personality. So,
Yeah.
she's like, she's got like I've seen pictures. I looked up all the artwork because it helps me differentiate these characters. Because there's like 50 characters, I would like to know what they look like. She has like white robes, like I think like paper white skin, almost alien. I wasn't sure. Tight bun.
She's in bar.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not a human person, like not human species.
She's a
correct,
sexy
yeah.
person, not a human person.
Okay, all right, that's what I thought. Lightsaber is cool. It's like Rey's in The Rise of Skywalker, if I remember correctly from the picture that I saw.
It's
Okay.
hinged and it's white. Yeah.
And her robes
And her clothes are always
always
pristine.
white.
Pristine, yeah. met Comic. You'll help me with the name.
Comactivitis.
Comac-vitis. Wreath. Jorah. Is it Jorah or Jola?
Jorah Malley.
There you go.
His-
The master.
His master, yeah.
Yeah.
Wreath Silas.
He's
Des
he's me. I'm him.
So
I don't want to go on adventures. I just want to stay put and be safe in like city.
he's just like, I just want to read my books, man. Why are you trying to make me do stuff? And so, and I say Belzetifar is my favorite, which is true, but again, it's about the love you have for each of these individual characters. So I love Wreath Silas so much. He's just a good boy trying to do his goodest in the galaxy, and also like Emery that you also got to meet in A Test of Courage.
Yes.
Who becomes Vernestra's Padawan and has a brief touch with the dark side. He also just wants to be a good boy, and yeah, there's so much really cool stuff. And I love that you also get how do I put it? How horny Wreath is. he thirsts a lot in that and his other books. He's
Thank God, Star Wars live action is so utterly hornyless. It's sexless. It's crazy.
Man, this is part of why we love the High Republic, is because as you mentioned, we get deep down into the mentality of Jedi who are going through rough times, and showing that hesitance, showing that doubt, but are also surrounded by people who also go through the same thing and know how to deal with it. Whereas like the prequels is the story of the Jedi who just like, oh crap, there's a war. I don't have time to deal with your emotions, right? So it is it's a huge juxtaposition, and especially with the horniness. There's a lot of that.
Okay, all right. I'm assuming it's more in the adult books.
Sure,
I'm gonna
sure.
assume. And I'm thinking
you're not gonna see it in the junior books.
I'm probably not. I'm thinking Elzar Fox. Can I say that word on your podcast? Okay,
You can.
I'll let you find that. But
I'm getting a lot of fuckboy energy out of that one.
stay off of AO3 with his name though. That's what I'm gonna say. There's a lot of
Rule 34.
a lot of thruple. There's a lot of thruple stuff going on in there.
Damn, my God. Wow. Is it? I couldn't really pick up on the vibes, at least not in the Light of Jedi. Maybe it's explored later, which I will figure out. But I'm getting some vibes between him and Avar, like they had a thing, or they have a thing, but they know they can't have a thing. There's something there.
Thing.
Yeah,
Going
that's also something we can
down.
neither confirm nor deny.
Okay, that's what I thought. This is what I'm saying. Like the Light of Jedi, like that's so much better. Like in the last third of it, like it's picking up the action. You're
Yeah.
exploring more of the villain and getting to know what's going on. But like you're getting more relationships forming between these characters, which I would have liked to see that like in the beginning instead of this mass tragedy. And I'm told billions of people or creatures die. And like it's like nothing. You know what I mean? Like you can't kill a billion characters, a billion creatures like that.
Yeah,
And I'm not seeing any of it like feeling any of it on an emotional level.
It did hit me. I like.
You know what I mean? Like it's just happening so fast, you can't react to any of it.
Well, so like it's someone I kind of talked to, speak on a bunch, but like in the beginning, we had a character who was like, he's had a crappy job. His boss sucks and is like a nepo baby and doesn't do any work. And there's like this Togruta who like works at the bar and he's like thinking about asking her out. And this tragedy rooting for this guy, and then he just dies. And you're just like, that hurt me personally, in Light of the Jedi. And there's a few of those things, like the rescue effort. And so I used to end my episodes with like, we are all the, and then cut off because that's all they got to say, and it's
Oh my god.
like,
Yeah.
there were some sad
Pretty
moments,
sad.
but
there's definitely some tragic moments that really hit. Like even in the first eight chapters, the first time you read the line, "This is Jedi Master Avar Kriss. We are here to help," it just sent chills down the back of my spine.
It's a good one.
But you're
Great
right.
line.
You're right though.
Simple.
The beginning setup of this book is like the book version of the beginning of Rise of Skywalker.
Yeah.
It's like trying to
Yeah.
hit you with everything possible, including the setup, so that once you get to the later half, it's like there's some time to breathe. But I can tell you, I can tell you right now that is a special case, and I think you're aware of that because of the task that Soul had to do of introducing the era.
Right.
But I knew for sure
Oh my god.
that you're going to enjoy Into the Dark and for the most part the rest of the books, because the rest of the books, outside of like more grandiose events in the story, are very character driven. Claudia
Okay,
Gray
good.
does an amazing job of it.
Good.
So yeah, I mean,
yeah. Even the next big events that happen are still happening from the perspective of Bell and Loden and these people. So you are with them in these events. You already know who they are, what they care about, and what's at stake. So it does improve that a bit. What do you think of our boy Buryaga?
And
Buryaga,
I guess if I can, he's the chewy looking one, right?
Yeah.
the chewy looking one.
No? Or is
Yes. Yeah, he's our Wookiee boy.
Wookiee, sorry. The only Wookiee I know is Chrysanthemum and Chewie. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Um,
And he doesn't look like Chrysanthemum.
no. I don't know if I remember much about him, except that I'm gonna have to revisit that. I'm sorry. Like to me, Bell,
no worries.
Loden, Avar, Elzar, or standouts. Like that's what I remember vividly the most about. And the rescue mission of that family when the Nihil attack. Nihil.
Yeah.
And Markion is like a real villain. I appreciate that about the Light of Jedi. Like he feels dangerous.
And he just gets
Like
better.
feels like an actual.
each
There's
book.
stakes in this book, which
How did
that's
you
awesome.
feel
I love it
about?
because again, it's a great villain, and I feel like a lot is at stake.
How did you feel about when you learned that it was indeed Markion that called for help?
Where was that? I forgot. I'm sorry.
When
I should have read
it
that
was
book
on
before I came on here.
it was on
No, you're fine.
Elphrona, with the farmstead. They were being attacked by Nile.
Yes,
And
yes.
a call for help came into the outpost, and that's when Loden.
That was Markion, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because
Like
it was a trap. He was trying to trap them.
Yeah, he when he captures Loden, he's like, "Do you recognize the voice?" And I was like, "Oh my god, this guy's hard, dude." How does that
I'm
make you
gonna have to
feel?
reread that.
Because
I mean-
I did love that part because in the story they're trying to get a connection, a signal out, and are unable to, and yet there's still a phone call to warn the Jedi that this is happening. And so I was always like, yeah, what happened? Yeah, and then that reveal was nice. But what I also really enjoy was we got our old man making 9-egg stew and just being like a kindly grandpa who's just like puttering around. And then he turns into an utter badass.
Yeah.
What was the character? I know who you were talking about, but I forgot the character's name. There's just so many.
Porter
I'm sorry.
Engel.
Porter, that's the one. He's big, right? If I remember him.
Yeah, he's a stocky fellow. I don't know what his size is in relation to others, but yeah, he's a stocky fellow, and he just gets more badass as it goes on.
I remember,
And if you could see him when he's
older
young,
beard. Yeah.
if you saw him when he was young, damn.
I have
I have not looked it up, but I will.
I have a selfish request.
What's the selfish request?
When you get further into the High Republic, specifically the end of Phase 1, and you start reading the comic The Blade,
Okay.
there's a character in there called Barash Sylvain.
Barash Sylvain. Okay.
I want you to cosplay as her.
Okay. I'm not gonna look her up now. Then it'll be.
Yeah. I'm just, when you get there and then, you start reading that, I feel like that's a good fit.
Barash. Okay. All right.
Also, shout out to Mary Taylor in the chat. Thank you for liking the live. Jackson says, so sad I can't call in last weekend at the Ren Fair, but I'll look forward to watching this later. Phase 3 is going to be great. Okay, so Jackson left already. But enjoy your time
Everybody's
at
in
the
New
Ren
York.
Fair.
Yeah, so our friend Dexon Download actually works the Ren Fair, and I believe he makes his own mead as well.
He's making his
Journey
own what?
Encore.
That's awesome.
Mead. Something I
love it.
plan to start doing myself.
Amazing. I love it.
Oh, dude, let me know when you've done it, because I want to taste it. Marin still hasn't read The Blade. Well, I suggest you do, because it is a good read, and it is a canonical explanation and namesake for the Barash vow. So if you read the Vader comic, or if you know anything about Kirok and Philo, who Vader defeated for his Kyber crystal, that person was on a Barash vow. And that is when a Jedi recuses themselves from the Jedi Order and pursues their own connection to the Force, much like Wayseekers, but they are in seclusion and they are just it's like a vow of isolation.
Yeah.
So here's my question to you: is the Wayseeker concept, has it been introduced before? Is this the first time it's mentioned in Star Wars?
First time.
This is the first time, but it's being used to explain a lot, because not all Jedi were forced. The Jedi Order didn't rule with the iron thumb that a lot of people seem to believe they do.
Yeah. No, you're right.
And so this is giving people an outlet for that, where we can now follow people who are just going out to follow the will of the Force. Unfortunately, they don't have the same backing of the Order. They're not opposed or anything, but it's really cool. and it plays a part in other stories going forward.
Right. No, it's a cool concept that, to counteract the whole great Jedi conversations that we have, because there's no such thing, so that you can operate within construct of the Force, but not be obligated to the rules of the Jedi or and their dogma. So it's cool, and I was just curious if this is the first time it was actually brought up, like the word itself, like the whole concept. So
yeah. Now I sent Pep a picture of young Porter Engle. I'm hoping he could pull up and
now I have to look it up. I'm curious.
Oh no, we'll make it so you can see it. Let me
Okay.
Trying to make me do some extra work.
little bit. But here's what we'll do, because I don't know that she can see the screen here. I can try to send it directly through Discord to you as well, JJ.
Okay.
I'm putting it up.
Wait, what was that? Oh my goodness. What's that on his head?
Nothing. Hold on.
But yeah, it's exciting though to see people go through it.
Oh wow. Okay.
Now, you guys in TikTok won't be able to see that, but it's just a picture of Porter Engle. If you would like to join us over on the YouTube side, you can. But it is just the comic cover of the Blade. Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Wait a minute. Well, what is this?
He's a badass. That's him when he's old.
But like the one in a black hood. And
yeah, no, that's that is him. He does wear that on one of the covers of the Blade.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Oh, this is a good one. Is this the one you're talking about?
Yeah, look at him. And look at that lightsaber. His lightsaber cutlass,
Perfect. Oh, goddamn.
Swashbuckling around. Yeah. That's just the type of dude he is, and it's awesome.
What I want to know is, what is he leaning on though?
What?
He's just posing.
He's just posing.
He's got the lightsaber pointed down, and it's not inserting into the ground. He's just like holding it.
Because he's cool. It's just meant to be cool. No explanation needed.
It's because Disney doesn't know how lightsabers work. No, I'm kidding.
Jedi Historian says homemade blackberry mead is my favorite.
Oh, that sounds good.
I love honey mead though.
So I actually have
That sounds so good.
a lavender farm near me, and so they have lavender honey, and I actually think that would make some. Like me and my wife go there all the time. But I think that would make some kick-ass mead.
Oof. Hell yeah.
Make some mead, man. Bring it to DiadCon.
Yes.
I got the need for mead.
The need for That's great. Oh, I love it.
Have you met Geode?
Yes, I have.
Spill.
Yeah. First of all, I knew of the character because everybody talks about a sexy rock. So I'm like, when am I going to meet the sexy rock? What's going on? Why is he a boss? I don't know. It's a damn rock. And I thought, like, you guys, like the fandom, were being like maybe hyperbolic. That's the kind of vibe I was getting. And I'm like, they were not fucking around. This is an actual rock that apparently is. Like, no, I really thought it was like a person that turns into a rock under like pressure or something. Like during
like
a battle,
Korg?
turns into a rock. Yeah, that's what I had in my mind the whole time. I'm like, there's no way they're talking about an actual rock, like a rock that's apparently sentient. And there is a rock right there, and Reith is like so confused, and I'm confused, which is probably. And kudos to author on that, like literally translating how the reader would feel in that moment with the character. It's just it's brilliantly done, which is why I'm enjoying that book so much. And he's confused and I'm confused. I'm like, so, and there's another character, a pilot girl, I can't remember her name, like talking to the fucking rock.
Daffy Hollow.
And I'm like, is he supposed to do? Is he in a pilot seat? Like, does he have like a foot for the pedal or like a hand to push button? I don't know.
Listen.
You just have to experience it, and
I am
it's
still so confused.
and it's funny because there was a lot of when people found out that Geode existed, there was a bunch of random hate on the internet.
Okay.
And you're like, clearly y'all didn't read the book because I don't know, they did work. But just the way Claudia Gray just like, and Geode's blank stare says everything he needs to in this, and you're just like, yeah,
That's a layered level of humor right there.
There are times when Claudia writes that Geode stares in a disapproving look, and you're like, what is that look?
And Reith goes into the kitchen and Geode is there, and he's like, Did they move the rock? Like, I don't.
I actually remember that scene.
Are they playing a joke on me?
The whole time, literally, that character Reith is like, this is a fucking joke. That's literally the entire time that he's in presence of this rock. And that's me too, because I have no idea what's going on. Like, what am I supposed to be looking at here? Is it going to like turn into a person? I'm waiting for it to turn into a person or like some kind of an alien creature, like Transformer style.
It is an alien creature.
Okay,
we'll just have to wait and let you
figure it out.
By the end of this book, you will have a much deeper understanding of the Chad that is Geode.
See what I mean?
And the thing is, so how familiar are you with Claudia Gray? Have you read too many of her books? Like, have you read Bloodline? Have you read
Bloodline? I read, but a long time ago. I have to revisit that book. That's my favorite Leia book. Like, I enjoy her writing a lot.
Have you read
Lost Stars?
Master
and Apprentice?
That's the one I have it, but I have not read it.
And Master and Apprentice?
Read that one. Actually, an audiobook, which that was a really fun audio listening experience.
Yeah, so Claudia Gray...
She's a great writer. She's a great writer.
She runs a clinic on character-driven stories, and... Man, oh man, being able to bring to life a rock is just one of those like crowning achievements as an author.
But and I just want to, while we're talking about Claudia Gray, I want to give some kudos and credits to Charles Soule, because it's on him to introduce the universe, and he does a good job. I would have just reeled it on in a little bit with the characters, but he's under a lot of pressure. So like, I just want to put that out there that I think it's important for you to introduce the story, and I think he's done an admirable job with it. So it's a lot. It's a lot for an author to do that. I want to make sure that he gets his credit for that.
Absolutely. All of the authors have some pretty monumental tasks, in general, because even if Soule has to introduce the era, the others have to kind of jump off from that point and create a relationship and rapport with the reader with those characters.
Right. So. And you can like, even if you have, some authors are better than others in however your reading experience is, but like, you still have to maintain the tone, like, and personalities across these books. Even when you have different authors, you still have to translate that. Otherwise it's going to be very disconnected and jarring. So the whole project is just mind blowing to me that they were able to undertake this and do something completely different in Star Wars, which is one of the reasons why I'm drawn to it. Even though, I struggled with the first book. He almost turned me off completely because I DNF'd it so many times. And I'm like, how am I going to get past this? Like, I'm having such a hard time. So
I'm glad you did, though, because like, again, like, the High Republic has so much to offer. And I understand that, not everyone's going to enjoy every single book. I didn't enjoy every single book, but it's just by virtue of being a lore master, I just have to read them, and
I get it.
I've had to come to terms with that fact with the Aftermath books and with Alphabet Squadron, and I still have to finish the Alphabet Squadron books, and I keep on telling myself that I will, because like Choco keeps talking about it all the time. And those are books that I constantly DNF. It's just, so I'm glad
just to point, Alphabet Squadron, the third book is one of my favorite books in all of Star Wars.
Wow.
But it's the third book.
So you have to get to
I
it.
enjoyed the first one, didn't like the second one, loved the third one so much, and so it ends up being like some tough thing to get through. Another book here in the High Republic, DJO's book, the last one. Why is the name escaping me?
Midnight Horizon.
Midnight Horizon. I actually struggled with the very start of that book. But you know what? It's one of the most beautiful things in Star Wars as well. Like the way it expresses how the journey of a Jedi is seldom linear, and it's okay that you have to do all this stuff and go outside of the order or whatever. It's such a beautiful book. I can't wait for you to get there. But I'm
So
also... Go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, like, if you can pick a favorite book in all 2 phases right now, one favorite, each of you.
One.
But don't say
favorite.
why. Just pick a book. Just pick a book. Your number 1 favorite.
So it has shifted over time.
Okay.
And over multiple reads. I think during phase 1, my favorite was Into the Dark. At the end of phase 1, it was Fallen Star. And then after a couple of after like rereading it another time, Midnight Horizon.
So it was like a journey for you.
Yeah, and during certain parts of certain months, Rising Storm. I think the books are finicky in that regard, and like movie rankings for me. Sometimes The Last Jedi is on top, and sometimes Empire retakes it. It just depends on how I'm feeling in the month. But yeah, in phase 2, it's got to be Convergence. But if I had to choose across phases, then it would most likely land on Midnight Horizon.
Dang, that good. Okay.
Yeah, for me, I would say Midnight Horizon is actually my number 2. I still have Rising Storm as number 1. It takes the characters I love the most and puts them through the ringer, and there are certain times where a chapter ends and I feel like I was just been gutted. I was like, you better not do that thing. If you do this thing, oh my god. Yeah. So I'm gonna say Rising Storm.
Okay. All right.
Crony says, I love these guys so much. Thank you so much, Crony, for tuning in. Elizabeth says, Natsu, Johnny, and I say hi. Well, hi back, Elizabeth. You guys enjoy New York Comic Con. Tell Johnny I said...
Jerks.
Tell Jenny I said...
on YouTube or...
on TikTok.
Oh, TikTok.
We're going YouTube and TikTok at the same time. Something we started last week. Tell Johnny I said...
to say hello to Mike Chen for us.
我的天哪. And if that's too hard for you to relay, just tell Johnny he sucks.
You have to say his full name though.
Yeah.
Oh, Kari.
Johnny, Mike, Chen, Doug. Johnny, Mike, Doug.
Yes. 4, right? No. Oh my god.
What are his 4 names?
It's been a while since you called him all 4 names. That's why we forgot. That's funny.
Well, it does make me a little. So back to kind of to the topic. It makes me curious because I know you read a lot, and a lot outside of Star Wars. I myself am have been urged to jump into the Dresden Files, so that's going to be the next series I jump into. I'm curious, what are you reading right now?
I'm rereading a Mistborn trilogy by Brandon
Okay, some
Sanderson.
Sanderson. Okay,
Yeah, I enjoy his language. I enjoy his prose. It's simple, but also like the world building is quite. It's Brandon Sanderson, so I quite enjoy it. I have not read the Stormlight Archives. There's so many books in the series; it kind of intimidates me. But at some point, I might pick that up. Like I've been reading a lot of romantasy lately, just like on book talk, like jumping on those trends, just to check out what's going on, to kind of like pull myself out of like A Song of Ice and Fire and Star Wars and my typical genres into something else. I want, like not boggle myself down. And I have not had luck lately. I read a Raylo fan fiction that was. Yeah, Raylo fan fiction has been published into actual books on multiple occasions, and the latest one is the Hurricane Wars. The author is admirably uses Star Wars concepts and creates something new out of them, and has like the romance factor obviously is strong in there. And it's just one of those books. Again, the world builds really fast. Like within 100 pages, there's so much going on, like a lot of tragedy. A whole war is unfolding. And just an alphabet soup of characters again. And it just takes forever to get going. And I'm like, what is happening with these books? Like, slow down. It's fine. Slow down.
I do kind of have a huge favor to ask you.
Yeah.
Since you're looking for something, romantic, and I know it's within Star Wars, but please try Lost Stars next.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Please raise that one up on top of the list, because that book I avoided. So that book came out around the same time as the Aftermath books. I read the first Aftermath book, and I stopped reading Star Wars books for a while because I just didn't like that first Aftermath book.
Damn.
And then I read Lost Stars, and that's what
really?
brought me
romantic?
back.
You know what? I'm gonna put this on top.
Yeah. And then it's adorable. It's a star-crossed lovers story that spans the original trilogy.
Interesting.
So you'll see events from the original trilogy happening in the background, but you'll see it through the eyes of these characters, and I think it's a fantastic book.
I will definitely pull it out of my display onto to be read pile then.
Yes. I wonder if I can describe it as a Star Wars Jamie X Brienne of Tarth story.
Oh, okay, all right.
Oh, hey, Benali's in the chat. I haven't seen you in a while. Hello. Benali says, Lost Stars is technically a romance, but not a romance by genre rules. It's a phenomenal book, though.
Which
I love it.
Brings me to the Jamie X Brienne.
It's true. Yeah.
Johnny says, "Wow, where's the rest of the Aegon hoes?"
All of you are in New York creating
Hold on,
FOMO for me.
Yeah, that's where they are. And I think,
man, and it makes me mad because I haven't made a lot of content lately, and I feel like if I had been making more content, I might have gotten invited to New York.
You know what? Like with the WGA and SAG strikes, it's difficult, for content creators at least to deal with struck work. It sucks.
But we remain in solidarity and hope they get their heads out of their asses, because you can't
pay these people.
You can't call the unions greedy when you're making millions of dollars a year.
Correct.
Benali says Claudia Gray has written a historical romance before, though, and that would be interesting.
She's right. I'll have to look it up.
Nemo says, "Hey yo, my 3 favorites." Us 3 specifically?
Hello.
No.
Obi-Shawn says, hello there, Dyad and JJ. What's going on, Obi-Shawn? You've been...
I'm looking like through TikTok live. I'm looking.
You can see the YouTube chat here in the call. I don't know if it shows it for you, but we got you
Okay,
covered.
gotcha.
Let's see here.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
if you're
no,
on,
she wrote Thousands of Pieces of You. Yeah, and the Evernight. I read those books a long time ago.
Wow.
oh yeah, what is that called? The Firebird trilogy? Yeah, 1,000 Pieces of You. I did read that book.
I did too, a long time ago when I was in my YA era. My God, that's all I read.
DNF'd it. But Lost Stars is what showed me that YA was actually an acceptable genre. And the way Claudia explains it, she says YA just means that the characters are young. It's a coming of age story. And all of Star Wars is coming of age, largely.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
Right.
So I'm wondering, do we have anything else to discuss about the High Republic? Is there anything about in the books that, in Light of the Jedi, or what you've read so far, Lost Stars is YA, yes.
That stands out.
Yeah.
What stood out to me the most is like the fact that like Elzar, for example, it seems like he's more liberal with the Force. He just uses it in ways that I don't see the current Jedi approving of, which I think is kind of cool. Same with Avar Chris. I know this is all juvenile talk to you guys. You guys know that, so I'm hoping I'm not boring you too much. I just
no, we love
sharing my
You wouldn't ask if you didn't want to know. I mean, like...
Okay, all right. And Avar Chris using Force-like music, which I still am unclear how that works. Like, is it actual music that she hears? Did the other Jedi hear it as well when she's connected through it, when she's trying to connect with everybody else?
I imagine when she's connecting everybody hears.
Okay. That is literally what I had imagined.
No,
How's it going,
part of it does get somewhat described where when there's like a disturbance, it's almost like hearing a discordant note when there's music, and so you hear something that's off, and you can kind of tell that. But I love it. I imagine that music is how I would see the Force. I actually liken the Force to music quite a bit.
No, it's very cool. It's very interesting, and I think that's what makes this era so interesting to like. In Star Wars in general, they can do these things, and now it's going to be very curious to see as you transition into the Clone Wars and the prequel era how a lot of those methods and techniques sort of get lost over years, which I would imagine they do. You know what I mean? Knowledge, it stays and it goes. I find it fascinating.
Yeah.
One of the interesting things is this shows you. As you go through these books, you'll see events that are happening in the galaxy that lends itself to why the Jedi are the way they are by the time of the prequels. So you can see the cracks start to form throughout these books. And I can't wait to find the rest of it out in Phase 3. But you can definitely see like, okay, this is why they have this mentality. Makes perfect sense. This happened, so they kind of went this way, and then eventually gets used against them. I think it's really cool.
And I love that. And the fact that they're exploring a lot of like master and Padawan relationships, which you don't get you get some of it in the prequel era, but it's mostly tragic. And like when you look at Kanan and with Ezra and Anakin, with Obi-Wan and with Ahsoka and Anakin, it does not end in the best way possible.
What's happening here?
There you go. Be back in focus. Nope, out of focus again.
General Skiva says that Ahsoka sweater is so
weird.
cool.
Oh, thank you. Pretty neat. And I believe there's something on the hoodie.
Hey.
Oh, that's cool. The pattern. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks for the like, Justin Lange. Mando season 3 or Bad Batch season 2?
Bad Batch.
Bad Batch season 2.
Okay.
Same.
Shout out to Keegan.
Which I didn't enjoy season 1, and so I was shocked with how much I love season 2.
It's better, yeah. It's much better.
Absolutely. Man, I had a question lined up. Oh,
Yeah.
no. Get
I
out
was
of
just
here.
gonna ask anyone in the chat. Feel free to toss in your questions as well. While Pep is asking his.
Also, shout out to all 9 of you on TikTok. This is awesome. Hopefully, more people start showing up. This is our second week simulcasting to TikTok. But JJ, knowing how some Jedi view the Force, how would you describe how you would view the Force if you were in the High Republic? And I mean, to give you time to think about it, you know, Choco says that he would see it in the Force. I don't know if there's anything that he can elaborate on.
Yeah, for me, it would also be music, but more based off of, also based off of harmony and intensity, of the music. Because I mean, as a drummer myself, I could play something at the same tempo, but change the intensity with which I'm playing it, or change the angle of my sticks, or change and give it a whole different feel, accent ghost notes, and becomes a whole different thing. And for me, that's what I love about the Force, especially since we've been able to focus recently on the fact that everyone could potentially use the Force. Same thing as music. Everyone could be a musician. Some people may be better at singing. Some people may be better at guitar. Well, then why doesn't everyone do it? Not everyone has the discipline. Not everyone has the time, the ability. Some people may get rhythm easier than others. Being black has something to do with it, I'm sure. But
Vash the Monk says, JJ, you rock.
Thank you.
for me, it largely, like I've said before, it largely comes down to me being a game designer, and I largely would see the Force as a game engine. And if you're unfamiliar with how it would look behind the scenes, it's like you're looking at objects, and they have this little gizmo on it for Z, X, and Y, and you're moving it within space. So if I were to float around a rock, I would be moving it around like a game engine, and manipulating the world that way. But Jesselyn says, or I can't read that name. That name looks like a piece of paper. But
Wait, what?
They ask what's the topic. We're just talking about High Republic right now, and how we would see the Force. Thank you, Matt MCD85, for that type out. How would you view the Force in the Old Republic? I mean, I think it would largely be the same.
And also, I just want to say, I feel like with the prequels and with the Clone Wars, we only got stories told from the perspectives, at least on the Jedi side, from Anakin and mostly, but from Ahsoka and Obi-Wan as well. And I am sort of getting burnt out on that era. But if you could give me stories from Plo Koon's perspective, like show me him and his Padawan doing stuff, and we look at the Jedi as being largely stoic because we're seeing them through the eyes of Anakin and their reactions to things that Anakin did. I want to see how Plo Koon views the Force. I want to see how our favorite snake daddy, the what's his face, four-armed snake monster with a beard, views the Force.
That's fair.
Give me some. Oh, Benali says a Mace Deppa story. Yes, absolutely.
Yes. Oh my God, yeah. That's actually great.
I think that's what we need.
You guys were talking about.
Go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna say, but you guys are talking about what the Force feels like. I would say that the music portion in the Light of Jedi is the first time I felt like I understood it, the concept of Force, not just being magical wizard power that gives some people and creatures things that others can't do. But honestly, the first time that I felt like I understood Force for the first time was in The Last Jedi with Luke and Rey on the cliff.
Love
The
that scene
darkness,
so
the
much.
light. That is probably my favorite scene in Star Wars ever, just because that's the first time I understood like what it means, what that energy represents. Like, and you can, and like when Rey's feeling it, you can feel it, like almost like air tickling you, almost like you smell the flowers, you can feel the waves crashing, like all those senses are just elevated, and you can use them, that energy, to sort of project it into, in the conflict or whatever you do. And with and I'll add the Avar and the music, it just makes total sense to me right now what Force actually is. So
I absolutely love that scene as well, especially, and it's a little bit off the book topic, but the juxtaposition between how open Rey is to the Force and how closed off Luke was when he was training. Luke's like, I don't want to do this. Like, when am I gonna learn how to kill people? And then Luke's like, Rey, reach out, and she's like this? Am I doing it? Like, she was so eager and open, and that was the difference.
Great point. That's such a good point.
I say
Oh my
that all
God.
the time, man. Why is she able to learn it so fast? Because
She wants it so bad.
Like, it's in Empire Strikes Back all along. It's like, I can't believe it. It's like, that's why you fail. When in juxtaposition, Rey is like, I believe it. Like, give me all of the things. Give me all of the Force. I feel it. That's it. That's the Force. Yeah, I feel it.
But it makes perfect sense. It's just somebody that yearns so much to be either something or have something meaningful in their life, whether that be friends or family or mystical energy field that encompasses everything that exists. Like, no, I appreciate it way more than I thought I would. Like, obviously hindsight is 2020, but yeah, it's just Force being explored as not just like, something that Jedi used to do dueling, but almost like a mystical thing is my favorite part about Star Wars.
Oh yeah. I mean, it's also kind of like expressed in their upbringing as well, because as much as Luke doesn't believe it and like is hesitant to accept this thing, he didn't know about it. Like, what is the Force? And like Obi-Wan has to explain it to him, and then like Rey meets Han, and Han is like, the Force, the Jedi, all of it's real. It's like, I knew it. Like they grew up on these stories, and Rey's the one that.
I mean, she's sitting there eating dinner in a Rebel pilot helmet. Like, that's not an accident,
Yeah.
Right. That opening, my God.
Benali says, I really liked the explanation in Kenobi when Obi-Wan tells Leia the Force feels like turning on the light. So that was a cool moment. And a Jedi historian says, I see the Force as a light in a dark tunnel. And if you stop to find it, it will lead you through.
Dang.
That's cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's deep. Holy moly.
I'd like to amend my answer after that.
That's great.
Just like seeing
No, seriously,
things,
me too.
just like seeing things
so good.
from like a game engine perspective with the tools here to manipulate the world. There would be quest icons above people's heads, and I would know that they need help.
Okay, wasn't there a scene where Deku had to like find a light, or am I mixing up my anime? Was that no? It's on Demon Slayer. It's something similar, right?
What are you talking about?
When they're learning breathing technique. I'll have to find it, but it's,
I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about though. Like,
yeah, and I don't know how to explain it, but it was an anime protagonist who was looking for like the source of their ability, and they ended up wandering on what looked like an endless shallow ocean and finding an orb of light in the middle of it, and that's
Tanjiro in Demon Slayer.
Okay, so it is Demon Slayer. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they were talking about the core of their soul.
Yeah,
it's a spoiler for the third arc, so the one hasn't. It's not on Netflix yet. I don't think so. I watched the third one on Crunchyroll. I don't know if it's on Netflix yet. So just
also shout out to Charles Olson. Good morning. He's saying this topic is literally the same with Wally and Barry and with the Speed Force. And Kylo in episode 7 encompasses this topic so well. Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
It all depends on what you're willing to believe as possible or impossible.
Right.
What is it that Qui-Gon says?
Your focus determines reality.
Dang, yeah. I keep picturing like, again, I'm going to refer to Avar a lot because of the music concept in the Force, which is so unique to me. It's so interesting. Like I just want more of it. Like I can almost imagine a scene where if she's connecting with the other Jedi through the Force, that they hear the same humming. Maybe not like a song, but some sort of humming in a positive way. Somebody's trying to like save them or communicate with them or connect with me so that we can amplify our powers. Like I keep picturing that. I don't know.
I mean, the dark side
so
is like a
cool.
siren.
It does feel akin to believe be with me technique as well. It's like a battle meditation thing. And I love when she's connecting everyone, and then she's like, "Oh, Yoda somewhere over there is like throwing it up too." Like awesome.
I imagine Yoda's like off where he is during that crisis. And then, like, he's meditating on a mountain, and then he hears a song, and he's like, "Let me get in on this rap line." Oh. Move this bar on a gas tank, I must.
Okay,
let's get over
that's
your
officially
general sexual
It's canon.
lust.
That's it.
As Elzar.
Yeah, that's officially canon now.
That's headcanon right now. That's it.
When she says she fills the music through Force, it's all trap, and all the Jedi are just like hopping in and like spitting a verse and coming out, and that's how you contribute to it. I love it.
This needs to happen. This is, I don't know if Avar is alive in third phase, but it needs to happen. Oh, this is so great. But not to be like corny or anything like that. When I think of this, when I think of the song and I think of Avar, I think like song to me, like even through A Song of Ice and Fire, it represents life as well. Mm-hmm. Like as long as the music is going, there's life, darkness, silence is a song. So I find a way to connect Star Wars and Game of Thrones in that way, which I always appreciate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it also, just to add a layer on top of that, to me, music is it's always been a huge part of my life. Music is not necessary for survival, but it is needed for life. You know what I mean? Like
to live, to not just survive, to live.
Exactly. And I think if you want to do more than just live, then you need the music. And I don't know, it just works.
I was laughing because Benali on YouTube says, "Do you think Avar literally hears the Force theme?" And I just think to myself, every single
oh
time,
my God, yes.
Every single time I personally have tried to summon my remote or anything in real life, and I reach out for it, I always go, and I sing it to myself as if it's gonna make it happen. I'm just like, it's gotta add it.
Okay, so that new headcanon, when she uses the Force, she becomes John Williams, and all the other Jedi are part of the orchestra, and that's their addition to the overall power. You know?
So when they tipped that Tapana gas over, that was the different parts coming and going.
Oh, that's so great.
Oh man, these are such great heart cannons.
I'm telling you right now. Now I can't visualize anything else. That's it.
Yeah. The one that surprised me the most though was Bells. He sees the Force as a raging fire, and
so cool.
It's Ken Masters of Star Wars.
Yeah, but like we always associate fire and red are bad. That makes
Passion
you evil, and then you're like, okay, but why? Because of clever marketing of other franchises?
Yes.
No, fire brings life, and
yes.
warmth, and and romance, like, yeah, it has a lot of good associated with it if you don't carry stuff from elsewhere into it. But it did surprise me.
See, you did it. You did it again. It's a Song of Ice and Fire connected to Star Wars. Too much of either kills the song, kills life. You need fire. Fire cleanses. Fire brings warmth and life and light. Yeah. But too much of it, you burn out.
Exactly. And then Elzar's was a deep, fathomless ocean. And he goes, and the deeper he gets into it is like the deeper he's feeling into in the Force. That's also a really interesting one because he actually physically does that at one point, but you'll get to that. That's not a spoiler, by the way.
Yeah, no, I figured, yeah.
All right, what
were you were getting something, Pep?
Yes, this.
Oh, okay.
Because we are in the next segment, and you're welcome to stay for it, because we are starting to read through some stuff live to help encourage people to keep on track of things. Crimson Climb released today.
Oh, Crimson
not today.
Climb. That's what you said. Okay.
On the 12th. And for the last segment of the show, we're going to read Chapter 1. So it is neither spoiler nor anything, really.
So, I mean, I kind of want to read it. I'm not a fan of that author personally. I don't like that cover. So I'm now crazy to jump and read that book. I'll be honest with you.
That's fair.
And I hate that I feel that way because I love Kira. I love her. I think Solo is deeply, deeply and highly, highly underrated movie. I love that movie.
Matt MCD says, in religion, fire purifies. Marco says, oh shit, it's JJ.
Hello.
So, what do you think we should do, Choco?
I will exit if you guys are going to read this, because I might be curious to read that book still at some point.
I honestly think it's a little bit late to begin reading the chapter, personally.
Okay.
Also, I don't know where my book is.
Well, that's a you problem.
It was here. But yeah, I mean, I'll leave it up to you if you would like to. But
this is the one that I'll be reading later, thanks to you guys. Do
you want to read a first chapter of Lost Stars? No, right? You're still reading Into the Dark.
Yeah, that's true. I am. I'm trying. For some reason I started Mistborn Trilogy again. I'm like, why are you doing this? Just finish High Republic. My mind, I don't know what's going on.
But I will add Mistborn Trilogy because I've never read it. I've actually never read any Brandon Sanderson, but I have watched a lot of his explanations on how to write.
Because he literally, I think during COVID, wrote manuscript of for 10 books within a few years. I'm like, George R. R. Martin, what are you doing, man? Take some notes. Yeah. The man just has so many ideas, and he just writes really fast, and he just spits it out there, and it's good. It's not like it's bad. Mistborn Trilogy is a really fun read. So
this is my next mountain.
The Darkest Minds. Okay.
Oh, okay. I have the first book on my shelf. I don't know if I read it. I think I did. Is it Alexandra Bracken?
Yes. It's Alexander Bracken. I saw, to prepare myself for Acolyte, I saw The Darkest Minds with Amanda Stenberg, and she was amazing, and the movie was amazing, to be honest, and it didn't do well, and so the story seemingly wasn't going to continue, so I'm gonna have to get into the books.
That's because the movies post, I believe, the Hunger Games trilogy, all the ones we're trying to cash in on the YA Craze did not do so well. Like Mortal Instruments by Cassandra Clare, they are deeply popular books. Like they're crazy. Their fandom is nuts, but they did horribly. Sorry, my cat is ripping my Targaryen flag again. Enough. Go away. Ridiculous.
She has something to say about dragons.
Seriously. Yeah, no, seriously, this is a green stand right there. Get away. So, anyway, sorry.
My cat is in an eternal feud with Chopper. She'll try to bite off Chopper's arms, and then we'll accidentally push the button and then get
moves, right?
Yes, and it moves for a really long time by itself. And so it's funny.
Yeah. Benali
says.
Anyways,
those books did not do well because movies. I mean, based on those books, didn't do well because the craze already went out. Like after the Hunger Games, Mortal Instruments, and then that one, Divergent did okay, but not that great. So.
Yeah, I was looking forward to seeing Amandla continue that, but I'm just gonna have to read the books with her in mind.
There you go.
But Benali says, I wish Star Wars would branch out to other authors to tell female stories. Literally any other author.
I know.
This is true.
Yeah.
I mean, as much as I love Project Luminous authors, I feel like there could be more opportunities out there.
Yeah, I do wish we are starting to get more of. And I know Alyssa Wong is going to start writing more stuff in Phase 3, where she was mostly relegated to comics before. So I'm excited to see how that goes. But yeah, I agree.
I do. I kind of wish, for example, at least Kira, that book right there, I would have hoped it was written by a different author, but also an adult book. I just feel like it's an adult character, it's an adult woman in a crime syndicate. I believe that's a YA treatment, that particular one, which I'm just...
Yeah, I actually didn't check.
Most of the Star Wars books are geared towards YA and kids, and I just kind of wish they would... I don't do one adult book with more violence, a little bit more exploration of character. I don't know. Just
I believe
I'm going off tangent.
It says 12 to 18. Is that YA?
Yeah.
YA, new YA, yeah.
7 to 12, grade 7 to 12.
7 to 12, I think it's middle grade.
Okay.
I may read it at some point because again, I like Kira, but I don't like the author. I don't know. We'll see.
You know, I mean, give me some more Christy Golden. Yeah, I don't think Christy Golden has been given enough in Star Wars.
It's like her stuff from Warcraft.
And also, Beth Revis is just a cool person.
She writes really nice.
Yeah.
She's a good author.
Kirsten White, absolutely, Benali.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I know that a lot of people, not a lot of people. I've heard some rumblings from certain people who have read, what is it called? Battle Scars by Sam Maggs. But
I DNF'd that one. DNF'd it quick.
Yeah, it's definitely on the lower end. But I do concede it is the thirstiest book in Star Wars.
It is, yeah.
It's a missed opportunity, in my opinion, that entire book.
Did you check out Delilah S. Dawson with Rise of the Red Blade? Because that feels like a JJ coded book to me.
And I got a special edition. It's actually signed by the author and has the red spray on edges.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a very special book. I haven't gotten to it yet because, like I said, I've been trying to get through my other TBRs. But yeah, that one looks totally like my deal. That book right there.
It's
and
JJ
bought it
coded
immediately.
and JJ built.
No.
I need to get me one of those Inquisitor outfits soon.
Oh yeah, no, I can see that.
I'm gonna steal Katie's her Trilla one. I'm gonna raid her closet and steal it.
I think you'd make an excellent Trilla for sure.
My favorite. She's my favorite. Where is
Yeah,
she?
well,
We always
we
have a-
I still maintain
up
that
with
she would be an amazing Barash, but I'll have to wait for that.
till I
one.
get to her.
yes. Why don't we wrap up with a quick, anime conversation? Because I'm curious where JJ's at with her anime.
My anime journey has been
dive.
very interesting. I haven't seen much anime over in my life. Like I've seen Sailor Moon when I was younger, like in high school, and I've seen Digimon, Digital Monsters. That was like my jam. Digital Monsters. Oh,
the
dude,
champion.
that was my jam. Like I collected cards, toys, like you name it. Like I was really into it. So and then I watched once like the strike started. And I'm like, what am I gonna watch now? Like and I can talk about it, which I haven't talked about on my TikTok much, which I'm surprised. It's mostly Game of Thrones stuff. But I watched Demon Slayer. It looked interesting, and I'm like hooked on it. I am obsessed with it so much. I love Nezuko, and I love what's his name, Rengoku, and Tengen. He's my favorite. And then I watched One Piece, the live action one on Netflix, which prompted me to start watching the animated one that has over 2,000 episodes or something. So it's going to take me 17 years to finish it.
Yeah.
But I am almost done with season 1, so I'm 62 episodes in. It's so good. It's really good. Like
What's crazy is how
It's
much
so
it
good.
builds on itself. How things from early seasons show up, and I'm around 500 episodes in,
dang.
and it consistently gets better.
I'm
yeah.
enjoying it a lot. It's just I'm taking my time with it. I'm not gonna like force it and like it's just too many episodes. So I'm gonna try to at least knock a season out per month or something. But I've enjoyed the live action so much because it didn't look like something I would like, but I loved it. And I'm like, now I gotta watch the animated one. So the next
feel
one I
like-
have on my list. I'm sorry.
Oh no, go ahead.
I was gonna say I watched the first 2 seasons of Jujutsu Kaisen. Wasn't really a fan of it. I thought it was a little too bogged down with so much lore and not a lot of characters interaction, like in a more natural way. So I didn't really like it. But I may revisit it because people are losing their fucking mind over the Shibuya arc,
Yes.
like losing their little mind. I've seen people crying. And I'm like, what are you crying over? Like, if it's what I think it is, I'm gonna have to hurt somebody. Because even though I wasn't the biggest fan of Jujutsu Kaisen, there's a character in it that I really like. I stuck my teeth into. Gojo, of course.
Of course, it's Gojo.
Of course, it's going to Gojo.
Yeah, it is.
So
in
I will
fact,
revisit.
about him.
Oh God. Oh no. Oh no.
Definitely
Yeah, I
have to
will revisit
revisit
it. Just yeah, I will. I want to because I made it. I didn't give it a fair chance. I'll be honest with you. I was kind of like almost looking for a reason to quit watching so I can get to One Piece.
Oh.
But-
I mean, that's
so I will
understandable.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm gonna be like married with grandkids, and I'll be like, all right, guys, I just finished episode 1,200, and
And then we'll be like, we're on episode 3,000 now. So
Is there an end in sight, or is it just gonna keep going?
so that Oda literally like writes to sustain his life. He's never
Really?
stopped. He's never stopped. He's never slowed down. It's only
old
been
is
in the
he?
past couple of years that he even got an assistant. Because he wrote and drew everything
My God.
nonstop, solid throughout this entire time.
How old is he?
I don't know. I imagine he's
Like
looks
older
a
man,
lot
like
older than he
80s?
he's probably
70s?
around his 50s.
Okay, all right. Dang. Wow.
You looking it up?
Yeah.
Sounds like a one man project.
Yeah, because almost every other show, there's like, okay, well, we have to stop and wait. We have to stop the anime because we have to wait for more stuff. Like George R.R. Martin. But like, no, Oda's just a goddamn machine.
Damn.
How's it going,
So
Stanzy?
do they ever get to fucking One Piece? Have they gotten to it?
I mean, listen.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be really mad, but also happy when we find out that the One Piece was the friends they made along the way.
I mean, they
Exactly what's
hinted
gonna
on it in
happen.
like the earlier episodes. I think like was it Usopp who was like, "We're going to find the One Piece," and then Luffy is like, "Don't say that." It's like, "We're here. I'm here to be the king of the pirates, and it's all about me and my crew," or something like that. And so, I also have a feeling that like the One Piece is just some kind of like, I don't know, a plot device so that they can have their journey, so that they can have their adventure, but it's not something that they'll ever find.
It's going to be like a self-created museum of all of his journeys, and everyone who gets to that point adds to it or something like that, and that's why they keep the new eras of pirates coming. That's what I think.
It's a red herring. It has to be. And I wouldn't be mad at it because it's really not about One Piece, technically. Even now, like I'm this early on in the season, and you can tell it's not even about the treasure.
Or
Treasure is
no.
the goal.
Better yet, it's literally one piece of gold. It's one piece. It's like, that's what I said. I told you it was a One Piece.
You know what? We will remember this and revisit this. You're probably right. It'll be one little piece of gold. You're right. Absolutely right.
Yeah, and then One Piece too. Will be about the second piece of gold that someone stole, making it One Piece.
Oh, that's
And
funny.
he's 48 years old.
Oh, okay.
He's 48. Okay. My God. So he's been writing this in 1994, right? Or 97?
I want to say it was 96, but yeah,
Okay.
consistently 2 to 3 chapters a week since 1996.
My God. Wild.
Yeah.
He probably dreams of a plot and just wakes up and writes down some notes and then
No.
on his way. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Is there any anime on your list to start next?
Castlevania Nocturne.
I actually just watched the first episode of not Nocturne, but the previous one.
It's so good, right?
It already just wasn't. I've also never played a Castlevania game either. I don't know how close they are. But when it starts out and like you meet the girl, she's like, "I just want to be a doctor," and Dracula is all about science, and I was just like,
What?
oh, that's not what I thought. And they're like, she's a witch because she has beakers and glass.
Connor super shouted a $2.42 ramen drop. Uragafu gulug pepi pipa pep chiku uda papa shat.
We
Wait, what?
appreciate it, Connor.
What was that?
That's our droid. That's SH4T.
Oh my God.
Man, oh man, oh man. Thanks, Connor.
What are you guys watching in anime right now? What's
I have a
occupying
feeling
your time?
Choco has to finish Vampire Hunter D, and I propose that we watch it together because I also
Wait, is that the
wanted
one
to
you-
show JJ.
You sent me that trailer in the chat once, right?
Yeah.
Like really weird, and like with the blonde guy and a dark-haired guy,
Mm-hmm.
right? That's the one. I was gonna ask, like, there's another vampire anime that I remember being recommended. I forgot the name.
That it is. It's
Okay,
also highly
alright,
recommended
alright.
by Eggy as well.
Sold.
If it's something you guys want to watch together, because I know that Choco has to finish it.
Yeah,
I'd be down.
I have to finish it, but I also need to finish doing some editing tonight. But yes, I'm definitely down for it. Also, just randomly for JJ, because of certain things you said, I feel like you might also enjoy Tokyo Ghoul.
Okay.
Um,
I go off of vibes, so let me let's see what it looks like.
yeah, like the ghouls are like another species, and they eat humans. They eat people. And so, can they ever truly coexist?
God, is Does the main character have like a red eye and a white eye and a mask?
He has a wears
This
an eye
is totally
patch
up
a lot
my
of time.
jam. Yeah.
And it does a lot of there's a lot of character work and stuff.
Stanzi says opinions on Kill la Kill.
Is it gory? How gory is it?
It's just very gory.
I love Kill la Kill, Stanzi. It's one of my favorite projects from Trigger.
Not as gory as like Chainsaw Man, but it's up there. There's going to be a lot of blood in there.
It looks like. Yeah, it looks pretty bloody.
Surprisingly, a lot of anime are bloody.
Kill la Kill was.
They can get away with it because it is anime.
I actually DNF'd Kill la Kill. I might have to go back and revisit it. I ended up falling off. Some of it was just kind of weird to me, you know.
For me, Kill la Kill is my JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Okay.
If you fell off of it because it was weird, get back into it.
Well, I mean, not just. I felt weird because I'm like, I feel like this is like a really, really young girl in this like BDSM outfit that feeds on her blood to give her power, and then, I don't know. It felt weird to me.
Icky.
But no, I'll give another check. I almost got you mixed up with Agami ga Kill, which I enjoyed. But.
Oh, Akame ga Kill.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's another one that's actually really good too. But I implore both you and Cal to continue watching it.
Okay, I'll give it a shot. Oh, a fun fact about Choco. You know how in shows or video games, I'm obsessed with electricity, base powers, and the assumption is like, well, you're black and there's a lot of electricity-based black characters. Which is true, but the thing that actually got me into it from as far back as I can remember was anime. A certain scientific railgun. That character, Misaka, has electricity-based powers and will basically take a coin and turn it into a railgun and absolutely obliterate people. And I thought that was the coolest crap ever. That's an old one, at least the first season.
I'll add this to the list as well. Gundam, The Witch from Mercury.
I also just watched the first couple episodes of that while editing, and yeah, it's those little lesbians are fantastic.
Well, I know there's a lot of anime to get through, but
this is all on Crunchyroll. You guys are watching, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the website.
I don't know if a lot of stuff is on Netflix as well and like Hulu. So I'm just always curious where everybody's watching what. What can I cancel?
Witch from Mercury. They even put all of it on YouTube, so anyone can watch it. But yeah, it's on. It's just easier to watch it on Crunchyroll.
Gotcha.
But with that, I think approaching the top of the hour, I think we're good to wrap things up for this episode of Dyad in the Force. We'd like to thank JJ, Lady Dragon JJ, for joining us for this wonderful conversation on the High Republic and in addition anime. JJ, is there anything you'd like to say to everyone who adores you?
Oh, that's really sweet. I think. Sorry about that.
Your cat has something to say, and
Would you
it's
like
violence.
to say something to the people that adore you?
The timing of that was just. It's their dinner time almost. It's almost 9 p.m. That's why. And they know. Thank you for having me. It's always a pleasure hanging out with you guys and chatting with you. Like I said, I was really surprised that you wanted me for High Republic Talk, but also I think it's cool to look at somebody, to have somebody that you guys have read him obviously extensively, and somebody that's a newbie to kind of share their middle ground thoughts, and for other people to try to get into it. So it was really a fun conversation to talk about High Republic, because I'm getting into it pretty deeply. So.
Everyone's thoughts is high ground thoughts, not middle ground.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. That's as good as the Force in the Dark Tunnel. That was just whoever the person that wrote that, chef kiss. Like that was. You should write your own book.
But that's the thing we try to perpetuate here, right? Is that like, no matter what, Star Wars is for everyone, and so like we even try to have people who became fans through Mandalorian, or became fans through Andor, or just became a fan yesterday, and they're like, oh, what is this thing? Like, so.
Yeah. Both mine and Pep's goal, I mean, I believe I can speak for him in this case, is with trying to learn all of the lore, was to stop people from using it against new fans, because that shit is irritating.
It's very. It's a turnoff. Like, it's such a turnoff.
Yeah.
Especially because there's so much, like, even like I consider myself a fan, but obviously I don't know half of the things because I have a hard time memorizing everything. But like, can you imagine if you've just watched Mandalorian and you saw Baby Yoda and you thought he was cute, and that's the extent of your Star Wars knowledge? Like, you're still a Star Wars fan. You liked it.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Those people are awesome.
And they're amazing.
That's why my first question is always like, how did you find Star Wars and when? Because it's... it's something different, and for everyone based off of when and how you found it, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Phantom Menace here. Loved it. That was my Roman Empire for Star Wars. Are you kidding me? Freaking Darth Maul. Done.
And after the strikes finally end and they start doing some more high ground stuff, we'll definitely have you on to talk Phantom Menace.
Yeah. Oh God. Anything for Phantom Menace. I love that movie. I know that movie very well.
All right. Well, cool. Choco, any final thoughts from you?
Always a pleasure. It's great to be live here and on TikTok, and we will continue expanding. So look forward to more conversations.
Well, with that said, thank you once again to JJ. Thank you to Lightbringer, Kstanzi, Breyer, Alberto Pineda, Marco, Matt, Charles, Paper. It's just a paper icon for your name. Justin Lang, Vash the Monk, Cal4, Benali, Jedi Historian, and Dare to Entertain. Thank you guys so much for sticking around and hanging out with us on Dyad in the Force.
You guys are awesome.
Thank you so much, JJ.
Thank you.
And we'll see you guys in the next one. But on to the next one.
For light and for life.
We're all the Dyad.
And may the Force be with you. Always.
May the Force be with you.
Take care, everybody.
Good night, everybody.